And good morning, Utsada. Let me turn off the sharing, and we can get started.
Good morning, Ajay bhai,
Good morning,
and can you hear
Utsada.
me?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm
Another.
good. Can you hear me?
Yes,
You
I
don't have
can.
your
I
camera
can.
on.
Oh, I do have my. I don't. I do have my camera on, and I can see me. So,
I
Utsada,
don't
we are
see.
on. Yeah,
Okay.
I think some problem at your end. I definitely we are on. I can see me. It's all good.
Okay. Perfect.
All
Perfect.
right, Utsada, good morning, and everyone, welcome to Hindu Lounge. Hindu Lounge, episode number 65. Hindu Lounge is brought to you by Hindu Pact, and Hindu Pact, as everyone knows by now, after 65 episode, Hindu Lounge is brought to you by Hindu Pact, which is the policy research and advocacy initiative of World Hindu Council of America. Utsada, with me is Utsav Chakrabarti. Utsada is the executive director of Hindu Pact, and now a well-known intellectual. I guess he is here every week, and he shares his great insights into topics of the day. We talk about contemporary American Hindu issues, And so the some issues we take a little bit more lightheartedly, and some issues we take we go into a deep dive of things. But we come live every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock Eastern, and that is 8 o'clock Pacific. And we come live on all our social media channels, the YouTube, the Facebook, and Twitter. So everyone, welcome, good morning, and we have an exciting show today, and I'll get into the topic of the show in a minute, while Utsada just takes a second to introduce himself. So, Utsada, over to you. Welcome to Hindu Lounge.
Thank you, Ajay Bhai, and welcome everybody. We are on our 65th episode. So it's been 65 weeks we have been doing this. And this week we have a lot of interesting things to talk about. Uh, Interesting because it spans almost every part of the world. And also interesting because we talk about how people think, and how people think affects other people. So this show is about how people think, and we will have a fun conversation, and some of it would be serious and some of it would be sad, because that's the reality of this world. So welcome everybody, and Ajay bhai, back to you. Do you want me to share the screen?
Uh, Utsada, please go ahead and share the screen.
Okay.
And as Utsada is sharing his screen, Utsada, this was an interesting week, right? I mean, this was the week. Let me introduce the topic. This was the week where India, for the first time, actually, in a non kind of in an event which was not a team sport or not rifle shooting, so the real athletic event. It was for the first time that India won a gold medal, and we'll talk about that. Neeraj Chopra, who was the Indian, javelin thrower, actually won a gold medal, and this was also for the first time in the history that an Indian woman, PV Sindhu, won two medals, and winning two medals is. So that I'm going to put the pictures right at the bottom, so the slide is like slightly bigger. So that this is it's amazing achievement for Indian woman to win two medals in two Olympics, right? So I think this is the story of celebration, and somewhat provocatively, we have titled this as "Mistaken Celebration." So that I this is mistaken celebration because um, why is it mistaken? Well, the people who started celebrating, and they then realized that they made a big mistake. Ouch! How do you make mistake in celebration? The sports, right? Sports is non-political. Sport is supposed to be non-controversial, and all of a sudden, in a historic moment, people start celebrating, and I think they said 17 minutes later, somebody realized that they made a mistake and they lit up Twitter. Tell us about it.
Well, what happened was that when this is a historic event in for India, because for the first time, I think ever, India has won a gold in the field of athletics in the Olympics. So that's a very very unique event. It doesn't speak well about India, but that is the reality. So when Neeraj Chopra won the gold medal in the javelin contest, he was like everybody else in the country of India. Actually, most Hindus around the world were extremely happy about just this new beginning. Not the best, but there's far more expected out of 1.5 billion people. But still, it's a beginning, and that's an amazing story for somebody who achieved this. But very quickly, it turned into a political discourse because, lo behold, this guy, Neeraj Chopra, has a strong Hindu identity. And it very quickly became a festival for the wokes. And Ajay Bhai will talk more about it. But as you can see, uh, this is how it works. And this is the level of discourse that has permeated the social media in the recent past. And Neeraj
Yeah.
Chopra
So,
could not be, people just targeted him after winning the gold.
all right. So this is the background, right? So it started in 2019, but nobody really realized that till about, I guess, 20 minutes after he won the gold medal. Nobody realized that, but there was. If you look at Neeraj Chopra's, you know, the gold medal winner in javelin. If you look at his Twitter feed, you would see this past Twitter feed from 2019 where Barka Dutt, the famous Barkadat, right? So the matriarch in some ways of the left, woke left liberal media in India, and she came out and said that because Indian pilot who was responding to the terror attack in Balakot, um, was his plane was downed and he was captured, Captain Abhinandana, and while he was there at the same time, during those days while he was in custody for a couple of days, the government of India released a Khelo India mobile app. And Barkadat, who doesn't even have to have a reason to, uh, to criticize the government, supposedly a neutral journalist, but never misses an opportunity, came out and tweeted that, with respect, I do feel that launch of this Khel app could have been postponed, given that one of our young pilots is in Pakistani custody. Now, this never happens anywhere in the world. There are wars. There are, people are in terrorism. People are getting killed in India, around the world. There are terrorists and there are terrorist states who capture innocent people, capture war prisoners, whatever it is. And Barkhadat says, I know the forces are free hand, but more communication and sensitivity by not releasing a Kale India app. How ridiculous can one get, right? So Neeraj Chopra in that time responded and said, look, Barkaji, sports helps unite the youth and channelize the energy in positive direction. And what better time than now to do that, right? It is good initiative and criticizing it is sad. That's what Neeraj Chopra said. Now we should say Neeraj Chopra is also in the Indian Army. So his voice should carry a little bit more weight, I would think, than Barkadat. Let's go to the next slide, Utsada.
Well,
Now this is go ahead, please.
I don't think in the Indian media, Neeraj Chopra's word in those days, back 2 years ago, carried that much voice because Barkadat is Barkadat. She has been celebrated despite her, being responsible for the death of many Indian soldiers in Kargil because she gave away the position of the Indian Army's uh, artillery battery during the Kargil War 22 years ago. But despite all those things, such is the nature of the ecosystem in the Indian media that Barkhadat is still considered the mother of all woke media journalism. Go ahead, Ajay bhai. I'm on the next slide.
Okay, go to the next slide. Oh, you're already there.
Yes.
All right. Okay, the second crime that Neeraj committed was he thanked Prime Minister Modi. So he said, when Prime Minister Modi said, India is proud that Neeraj Chopra, Yogi Dutt, and wrestler Sushil, we're proud of you. He said in 2019. However, they made India proud because they participated. Now, this is with respect to, I believe, one of the other sports tournament took place in 2019, and Neeraj Chopra committed a crime. What crime was it, Utsada? He said, he said that Dhanyavad sir, that means thank you sir, and he says it to Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, and then he said, मैं देश की जनता से यही कहना चाहूँगा कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा संख्या में वो वोट करे और अपने देश के लोकतंत्र को मजबूत बनाए. जय हिंद, जय भारत. So he said, thank you sir, Mr. Prime Minister. I would like to tell the people that please go out in large numbers and vote and make this democracy a success, and make the democracy strong. And then he says, Jai Hind and Jai India or Jai Bharat, right? So he is just praising the country, and he is actually saying that he wishes that more people go out and vote. That's all he said, right? Another crime, because how can he be responding to the Prime Minister of India? How can he be saying that please make the democracy stronger? I mean, that's a crime, Utsoda. I mean, democracy and left liberalism, communism don't go together. I mean, just to say that make democracy strong, how can there be? How can someone say that? If that is not a crime, Utsoda, what is? Come on, now this is like an attack on all the people who have just woken up about the democratic values, and that is, I mean, how can you give a pass to Neeraj Chopra when he does that?
That's because you have to understand, Ajay bhai, the people in the Indian media and the general intellectual class in India in general, the thinkers and the sayers, those who are visible in the public space, they are accustomed to the kind of role models and success stories that would return awards because they would get the awards on somebody else's patronage. So, the award wapsi gang, those are the people they are accustomed to. And how dare a young, upcoming sports person just urge people to go out and vote on the call of the Prime Minister of India? I mean, that is a crime. You have to understand where the media people are coming from in India. They are accustomed to people who will be saying, you know, Gujarat 2002. That those are the people who they support. Those are the people who they lived with. How dare a young new generation start actually just believing in Narendra Modi, let alone support him. This guy Neeraj didn't even support Modi. All he said was just go out and vote, and that itself is a crime for many people because to them they still want to keep India and the rest of the world in the 2002 Modi pariah, you know, rioter narrative. And every year, people in India and people around the world have moved away from that narrative. It has been a strong sense of loss and suffering for these people. So, it's natural. You have to understand it. You have to appreciate it. As people who are compassionate, we need to be empathizing with the media in India.
Yeah, I think in all seriousness though, I think you intellectualize too much. I mean, I think you should have just said that look, I mean, as a matter of compassion towards leftist and their position, we should just say that look, I mean, this is, you should look at it from their perspective, and you should see the kind of heartache that some proponent of democracy can cause, and we should be expressing our compassion and sympathy and not really intellectualizing our position here. I think you went a little bit too intellectual on this.
That, that's
Let's go to
always
the
been that's always been my weakness, Ajay.
I know, so I
Unlike
think
you, I do intellectualize.
I think you need to lighten up and just give people their space to mourn. I think you're not giving them the space they need.
Well, Joy, you
Uh,
make up for that space. So
Gagara, come on. We have to be considerate. We have to be compassionate toward people who don't like certain things. I mean, even though they are the cherished values of humanity, but they don't like it. So give them some space. Go to the next slide. And so this is the person who then tweeted that, so there was a person, I think we have that slide coming up later, and this person, Shireen, Shireen said, first she tweeted, said, come on, one gold please. So she's really enthusiastic. Go to the next slide. And then the bubble burst, I think is the next one, I think, where she says, oh no, I found out that no, okay, we don't have that. Maybe we don't have that one. But and then she realized, and then she started tweeting that this is not a this is a tragedy, and how can this happen and things like that. So then this person, uh, the baby Shalini, came out and said that, look, my rule of thumb is not celebrating Indian sports people until I'm sure they're not Sanghi is working well for me. So this guy would wait. for the sports event to be over. Then he would do his background check, and then after the background check is done, he would find out if the person belongs to Sangh, which is RSS, Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, or not, or in this is a code word for whether the person is being Hindu, is a Hindu or not.
Yeah.
And then if the person is not Hindu, then start celebrating.
Yeah, but it's when these people say it's sanghi, it essentially means if the person has a strong identification for themselves as a Hindu or not. It doesn't matter if they are part of RSS or any other volunteer
And
organization. That's basically a cat call for whether a person identifies strongly.
yeah, so that I feel sad for this person because I think, he's not going to have too many celebrations in life. I mean, at this rate, I mean, what is he going to celebrate? I mean, there are like, almost 1.4 billion Hindus, Indians, over a billion, and more, over a billion Hindus out of that. 82% of population is Hindu, and a good chance that out of five, uh, you know uh, four winners are Hindus. I mean, like, and then out of that, out of the other ones, there might be some others who are not Hindus. Many of them, in fact, who are not Hindus but are staunch Indians, and they would get classified as Rashtriya Muslim Manch people. So or something like that. So who's left to celebrate? I think this guy is going to have a very sad life. I kind of feel I feel compassionate towards his life. I think he's not going to be having too many celebrations at this rate. But
Correct.
again, look,
Correct.
I mean, I'm just being compassionate here. That be ready for more such sad days in your life. I mean, that's all I can say. The baby.
The baby. It's a good name to have, these guys. Yeah, yeah. These people will be sad. They have been sad for a while, and that's the part. That's the fun part. The serious part is that there is a ecosystem that genuinely thinks this way, which is humongous, not just within India but outside India. And
Yeah.
that is the ecosystem that is very well empowered, has a significant amount of resources, has significant support in people who are in positions of power around the world. And that is the part that people should be taking seriously and be worried about, because as much as we are joking about this, and as much as we can see, we can ridicule this kind of inherent hatred for people who are pro Hindu people amongst many of these social media nobodies. There is an ecosystem behind it that's extremely powerful and extremely active, and actually does things that can have serious results on people's lives.
See, there you go again, Utsoda.
Yeah, I get
Instead
serious.
of compassion, you're taking their tragedy and you're turning into intellectual discourse.
What
It's
can
a
I say?
tragedy for them.
What can I say? I'm a Bengali. I do that.
Let me make up for it.
Yes, please.
Okay. Now go to the next one. This is even more interesting. So the next slide. So this guy tells Neeraj Chopra that this is about now PV Sindhu. So PV Sindhu, the Indian badminton player, became the first Indian woman who has won two medals in Olympics. A great feat, and everyone in India, every Hindu is proud of it. She came back and then she went to a mandir to pray, and that obviously didn't sit well with some people, right? And advice is free. I mean, we give, other people give advice, it's all free. And so look at this nice advice that she got. She said, submit to Allah next time and win gold, you silly girl. Now, see, I mean, like, look at it this way. This person is real good of PB Sidhu at heart. I mean, they're saying, like, go and submit to Allah and you'll win gold. What's wrong with that, Utsada? I mean, advice coming from a right place, right?
Correct. And this is called Dawah. And for those who don't know what Dawah means, this is a very natural process. This is what got people like this gentleman or gentlewoman. I don't know where the gender of the person. This is what got them from a small village in Medina to being the second largest religion in the world. So you got to respect that.
Here you go. So go to slide number 11 first, and not the other ones. All right. So here is the hatred-filled tweets for PV Sindhu. Okay. Look at the amount of hatred, Utsada. Sanjay Sindhu lost. Nice. From Tom Babu. I don't understand the Telugu language. So I can't read the, but I'm happy that the English part of it says, uh, "I'm happy that Sangi Sindhu lost." Uh, Someone says, honestly, the ones who won medal are not even near to being oppressed by some of us tagging them under Bahujan names. Also, Sindhu, who hyped up so much, is a Sangi. Winning anywhere doesn't guarantee ethical behavior. That's from Cash. And from Pallavi, right? Sangi Sindhu medal, my foot. Okay. So
Well,
I
okay, the person who carries the
and
name
these people
Cash
so
actually
that,
has the
let
name
me just say
Sarah.
this. So that one thing I want to say before that, these people are living a really sad life. Go ahead.
Ajay bhai, they don't care with what you think about them. But what I'm saying is that this lady Cash has actually the name Sarah Kasham, which most likely is actually a short of Kashmiri. So there is all likelihood, very high likelihood that this person is a pro-separatist from Kashmir. So you have to put the things in context. They will any success from anybody in India for a separatist from Kashmir is not a good thing. So you just that's the background of it. And the thing is that the fact that today many sportsperson in India who all they have done after winning or getting a medal is that go and pay obeisance to a guru or visit a temple to get the blessings. If that's all they have to do to be branded as Sanghi, then I think RSS really or Hindutva folks really don't have to do much to get more supporters. The other side is pretty much doing the work for them. Uh, and I think that's a blessing because most Hindutva people are pretty bad at getting convincing other people to support them. So the thing that is saving them in this situation is that other people are are even worse, and they're helping them get supporters.
Well, Utsada, you know what? I think I have a great idea for the next few episodes of Hindu Lounge. I think we don't have to do anything. All we have to do is take the clippings from Twitter from these people and put them up on the screen, and they will make the point better than we are making. Because, I mean, after this, there's really no rational argument, intellectual, discussion to be had. I mean, you just put this up, and anyone who has ever supported them, who is neutral, will realize that these are sad people with no intellectual grounding and no celebrations in life, and they might as well come to the brighter side. I mean, I think that's what this is.
They do have celebrations in life. I mean, every time.
I,
I think you overestimate their sadness. They do have celebrations every time India doesn't do well. Every time Hindus suffer. Every time there is something that bad that happens, they do celebrate. It's a it's a it's a very strange mentality, and it is not just present in India. The reason we are doing this presentation today and focusing on India, even though we are mostly American Hindus and most of us are addressing issues concerning Hindus in America, people might think that, "Oh, why are these guys talking about something happening in India?" Because we really are not involved in India. But the reason we are discussing this is because this is a global phenomenon, and what happened with Neeraj Chopra's gold medal actually brought out a symptom amongst many people in the Indian woke culture that are also very much prevalent in America, in American universities, in American public discourse, and it's a sad situation for the entire world to have this discourse keep gaining more and more support amongst young people.
so that having a lot of echo at your end for all of a sudden.
Oh, okay. Let me see how I can fix
It
it.
just started.
Okay.
All right. So the I I I I know that this culture is taking play hold in many places, but I think even today, most reasonable people, look at this and say, yeah, you know what, We don't. This is going way too far. And let's go to slide number 9, and I'll show another snippet of what people said. So, devil's blessing. This is slide number 9. Yeah, devil's blessing. And this is, Anandita says, celebrating Indian men is embarrassing, especially celebrating Sangi men like Neeraj Chopra, and this tweet is a serious one. Like all our other tweets are not serious, but this one, Utsada, is a serious tweet, so you better pay attention to it. Celebrating Indian men is embarrassing. It doesn't matter what they achieve. I think and especially because men are more likely to be Sangi. Don't you know this stat? Of course, the made up stat, but still, I mean, the stats that live in Anandita's mind, that
Well, the
the
Ajay, I mean, don't take it as a joke, because wherever Anindita is, most likely this is going to be her PhD thesis, and there's going to be a leftist professor who is going to give her with very good scores or whatever they give. I don't know,
yeah, you see, there
in
you
some
go again,
elite
Utsada.
university
There
in
you go
India.
again. I think even when you smile, Utsada, it is serious. Like I give her some space to express herself,
I,
her own little corner.
I'm actually amplifying her expression. It's so
Yeah,
don't.
there you go. Let her write the PhD thesis that will gather dust somewhere. That's okay. A lot of PhD theses gather dust.
No, this is the fun part, Ajay. It will not gather dust. She might actually get a job in
No.
Facebook or Twitter as India social media manager, and she's going to be the one who is going to be taking off your VHP account on
Oh,
Twitter.
don't worry about it, Sada. We have people's hearts, minds with us. It doesn't matter what PhD is sitting on Twitter anywhere. All right, go to slide number 10, Utsada. And this is the real reason, right? This is the tweet from Anu Mittal, and uh, and she's saying, thank you, Modi ji. And she cannot write Modi ji because then, like, that she would have to go and wash her mouth out with Listerine or something like that, for dividing us and creating this toxic environment. She thought that word toxic will get bleeped out by Twitter, so she replaced the O with a zero. So basically, Utsada, if you really summarize all this is all about hating Modi. It has nothing, and hating Hindus, and hating Hindu-ness, which is Hindutva. It is really the whole narrative here, and the anger that these people carry is because they don't like they don't like Hindus, they don't like Hindutva, they don't like Modi, and all the rest of the people like Neeraj Chopra and PV Sindhu are just collateral damage in the process. And but Utsada, I would still say, Utsada, that this amount of hatred, I mean, Anu, this amount of hatred is not good for you. I mean, this kind of hatred and anger can lead to high blood pressure and all kinds of other chronic diseases. You may just try and get life. I mean, come on, this is not good for you. Utsada, go ahead. You're trying to say something. You were on mute, but go ahead.
Again, Ajay, you give them you are worried about them, but you have to understand why they
Okay.
hate Modi in this particular situation, because even though Modi is one person, he symbolizes the decolonization of the Indian elite and the Indian power structure. Uh, Blame me for being trying to intellectualize things again, but Modi essentially has, for the first time in probably 1,000 years, I'm just throwing out a generic number here. It could be 600 some places and 800 some other places. But generally in the Indian subcontinent, Modi, especially the parts where Hindus are still in majority, Modi represents the decolonization of the Indian power structure. And that has happened after such a long time that this kind of behavior coming from the colonized elite, whether they are Hindus, whether they are Hindus who are leftists, or whether they are outright, Islamists or whatever, evangelists, this comes as a shock to them, and that's why they constantly will target Modi, as long as he remains a viable leader of India and larger subcontinental politics.
Yeah, but Utsoda, you have to, the way you do analysis, a psychological analysis, is you put yourself in their shoes and then you try to understand them. And the way you understand them, Utsada, is by saying that, look, I mean, things were so good before Modi came to power, and everyone was living in harmony, and nobody died during partition, and nobody died during years that followed after that. And things were great. I mean, look at Pakistan. Everyone is living in so much harmony. All the religions get together, they celebrate, they go to each other's places of worship, they respect everything because look, I mean, but without Modi, I mean, India was like that, and now with Modi, India has deteriorated. I mean, India was on a way to become like Pakistan, the ideal country on the face of earth. And look what Modi has done. He has given he has given a different direction to India, and all of a sudden, these Hindus are now thinking differently. Look, they used to be so tolerant. So that go to slide number 12. I mean, this is what look, I mean, after partition, they created one ideal state and one India. And look, this nice ideal state. Everyone lives happily there, right? Play the video and see how happily people are living there. And this is the video of Ganesh temple in Bhong in Rahim Yar Khan in Pakistani Punjab. This happened a few days ago. Like what is it? 4 days ago now, Utsada, something like that. And let's play the whole video and see what happens. Utsada, you don't have the inside of the video. What happened? Wait, don't go to the next one. You don't have the video where they show the inside of the mandir. Utsada, you may be on mute. You are on mute. Can you stop the video for a second?
Ajay, let it play. It has the inside. Okay.
Oh, okay. The sound is not coming. You should share with the sound if there is one.
You hear the sound?
Now I can. Okay, perfect.
So Ajay bhai, this
So
was
that,
in,
yeah,
this
go
was
ahead.
in 2 days ago, and this was in the town of Bhong, which is in Rahimyar Khan. Rahimyar Khan is in the southern part of what is Pakistani Punjab, and it is right next to Sindh. So there is some Hindu population still left there in Rahimyar Khan. Most of the Hindus in Rahimyar Khan and that areas are actually the so-called Dalit communities. So Pakistan has a small amount of Dalit communities that are still practicing Hindu dharma, even though under tremendous amount of human rights pressure. And this temple that was destroyed 2 days ago, 3 days ago, was from that area. So, for all the noise that people make, all the wokes make, all the liberal left, all the Hindus for human rights front groups make, uh, pin drop silence. Crickets out here
Well,
for
they did put out, there was a statement. So if you can just stop the share for a second,
Okay.
so that we can just have 1 minute. I just wanted to say this, that Hindus for Human Rights did put out a statement, and they equated this particular attack with attack on the Babri structure, which was not a mosque. Babri structure
No,
was
so
no
hold on,
different
hold on,
than
hold on. So
a monument to slavery.
Hindus
Yeah,
for Human
yeah, go
Rights
ahead.
is saying that the Ram temple in Ayodhya that is being rebuilt after a temple there was demolished by a Muslim
Correct.
is the same
And they're
thing as
equating this with
Muslims
that.
demolishing temple. So that's the level
Yeah.
of dishonesty. That
And this degeneracy of mind,
Yeah,
but
it's
that's
like if
okay.
somebody rebuilt the Bamiyan Buddhas, it's
Yeah,
basically hurting the sentiments of the Taliban. That's what Hindus for Human Rights say.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's their statement, and they have it on their website that they put it out, and they're So this is the level of not just intellectual dishonesty,
No,
but
it's not.
intellectual corruption, intellectual
No, it is
bankruptcy,
hatred. It is pure
and
hatred.
hatred, and
Yeah,
hatred.
because this
Right.
kind of
So
dishonesty doesn't come out of not knowing. This
yeah,
not. I mean,
exactly.
20 years ago, if the people who run Hindus for Human Rights and Indian American Muslim Council, all these care people, if they had said this 20 years ago, I could have still given them in the tag of intellectual dishonesty because the Indian Supreme Court or the High Court in Uttar Pradesh had not given their judgment. But 20 years down the road, every court in India has admitted the historical fact that temples were destroyed in Ayodhya to build a mosque there by the general of Babur. So, what actually happened in Ayodhya 400 and whatever years ago is exactly what is happening in Pakistan now. And if Hindus for Human Rights doesn't have the honesty to actually say that, it's for the people who are Hindus and the people around the world who are not Hindus. It's for them to figure out what a level of dishonesty and vile hatred they have for Hindus.
Absolutely. So let's go to the next video. And this is what the left in India aspires for India to become, because they think that India under Modi, or Bharat under Modi, and because it's somewhat of a pro, it's a really truly, in true sense of terms, an all accepting, secular government. This is what they. You're not. The share is not on it. So
So this is the Teri temple in Karak, which is in Pakistan, in Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, and this was actually destroyed 6 months ago.
and this is so the after it was rebuilt, because it was already destroyed once. This was after that.
So
And
this is the Teri temple in Karak that was destroyed 6 months ago, and as expected, everybody who was responsible for this attack has gone scot free. the Pakistan government made a little bit of noise for the first week when there was a little bit of global scrutiny, and of course, everything, no cases, nobody arrested, nobody in jail, all well. I mean, to be honest, this is not very different from what the Delhi Sultanate did, what the Mughals did, what Timur did, what Mahmud Ghaznavi did to to these Pakistani ancestors. Actually, what the places where these temples are being destroyed, these places used to be the people who are destroying these temples. Their ancestors used to be Hindus, and it was Mahmud Ghaznavi and Muhammad Ghori and other many other Islamists who invaded these areas. They destroyed their own ancestors Hindu temples too, and look at it now, their children are now destroying other Hindus temples. So
You know,
this is the fact that people in the left don't want to accept or address, because that basically takes the conversation off the table, because that is the
yeah.
truth, and they cannot deal with it. They cannot do their politics if this truth is told, and they cannot play their games if this truth is told. That's the problem. And to even call them left is actually tragic. I mean, it actually maligns entire left. As much as I disagree with them, I still, it's worse than one that these people are not even left. They're just opportunist, vile, hateful people.
So I go to slide number 14.
This is the Hanuman temple in Leari in Sindh. Sindh is an area where still there are significant amount of Hindus left. Most of them again belong to the lowermost strata of the society, and Pakistan, being an Islamic country, has ensured that they stay there at the lowermost level. There is no
Can you share the screen? I don't see the share.
Leari in Pakistan. An
yes.
Hanuman temple has been demolished in Pakistan.
And
Pakistan's
these are all the examples from 2020 and 2021. So for
advantage
all those who are
the
watching,
lockdown
these are all recent examples.
is coming in. We have my colleague Ajay Jandyal who will be
This is
joining us
happening. This
on the
all
phone
happened in the
line.
last 6 to 8 months.
Ajay,
Eight months.
what more can you
Yeah.
tell us about this particular temple?
So that we may want to turn off our videos.
Well, it clearly shows that this is not for the first time. Even in the past, we have shown the world that how Pakistan and the people in the Pakistan they are targeting the minorities, and especially the Hindu shrines is being targeted. And this time, the Hanuman temple in Leari is being targeted and demolished by the builders over there. And not only the Hanuman temple, but the residence houses adjoining that Hanuman temple in Leari that has been demolished by the builders, and they have basically, they have done it during the COVID-19 situation when people and world community, even in the world, we have seen that how people, governments were saying that people need to be supportive during the lockdown, but the authorities and the builders in Pakistan, they have taken advantage of this lockdown and COVID-19 situation, and they demolished all the houses in adjoining Leari area of Hanuman temple, and then they demolished the temple also. And the people, those who are basically taking care of that area, and those houses were demolished by the builder and the authorities. When they reached there to see that what is happening, they have seen that the temple is raised to ground, and even the houses were totally demolished by the builder and with the help of authorities, Pakistani authorities. So this is what happening in Pakistan, and no one is Pakistan, whether it is Prime Minister Imran Khan or any minister and the forces in Pakistan, they are supporting the minorities at this time, and it is clearly a human right violation in going on in Pakistan, and this is not for the first time. In the past, we have seen that how minorities is being targeted, whether it is Hindu, whether it is Christian, whether it is Sikh, the girls is being raped, the youth is being killed, and now the houses and the temples are being targeted by the Pakistani government and the authorities there.
Perfect. So that, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's uh,
So,
let's stop the share and let's-
do you want me to
yes, your
go to the
comments,
next
please.
temple?
Yeah, I think let's go to the next slide. This is the Mandir that was attacked in Rawalpindi on March 29th, 2021. And we are showing all this, and this is really painful for all of us Hindus to watch. But this is what
That
the
was
people
the
who
gold
are not
medal.
celebrating the India gold medal, this is what they want India to
Showing a
become.
group of
Okay, let's turn off
unidentified.
our videos, Utsuda,
What
and
you do
see if
know
we
is
can.
that this incident occurred at the Purana Kila area of the city this Saturday when about 10 to 15 people stormed the temple at about 7:30 in the evening. They damaged the main door, another door at the upper story, as well as the staircase. These images, Gursimran, that we are playing out, again, testimony to that entire destruction. But what more do we know about who was behind this?
Yeah, it's still the unidentified people who have attacked this temple, the 100-year-old temple in the Pakistan, and this has become a norm in the Pakistan where the minorities are being targeted. This is nothing new. We have seen that how in Pakistan, even the ruling government, they were the part of the conspiracy against the minorities, and we have often seen how their religious places were attacked, be it from of the Hindus, be it of the Sikhs or the Christians. We have often seen things like this happening. And day before yesterday, that is on Saturday, this incident happened at around 7:30 in the evening. This is what we are being told, that some 15 to 20 people, they came out and they attacked this 100-year-old temple in the Pakistan. So this shows the what exactly is happening in Pakistan, that the minorities in Pakistan are not even secure. Even we spoke to some of the persons who are residing in the areas nearby, and they said that they have themselves seen this incident happening. So this shows that how lethargic approach the government of Pakistan is also taking regarding these, because this is not the first incident that has taken place in the Pakistan. This has happened in the past as well. Many incidents have came into being. Even we have seen that the international countries, they have taken up these issues with the Pakistan government, but to our surprise, no action has been taken so far, and the incidents are increasing day by day. Yes.
Utsuda, and 2 days after that, on March 31st, there was another attack on a Hindu mandir in Pakistan. So this was on March 29, 2021. And then there was another attack on March 31st. So if you go to the next slide, I believe that is the one for March 31st. And yes, that's the one. And yes, please, you can make it even bigger. There you go. And now you can play this slide.
Subscribe to Swarajya and press the bell icon. Unidentified assailants ransacked the 74-year-old Hindu temple located in Rawalpindi's Purana Kila area. As per the police authorities, a case has been registered against the attack. The authorities said that the temple was being restored and construction and repair work was underway since the last 1 month. It was further revealed that due to the restoration process, there were no religious rituals taking place in the temple, nor subscribe to Swarajya and press the bell icon. Kila area. As per the police authorities, a case has been registered against the attack. The authorities said that the temple was being restored and construction and repair work was underway since the last 1 month. It was further revealed that due to the restoration process, there were no religious rituals taking place in the temple, nor were there any idols in the premises. Temple administrator Om Prakash revealed that security has been deployed at his house as well as at the temple following the incident. The attack on the Hindu temple is not the first, as miscreants have attacked many others in different parts of the country in the past. The Hindu community of Pakistan has called on the government to ensure safety and security of their religious sites and facilitate them in performing their religious rituals.
All right. So that if you can stop the share. And uh, so that I would highlight another attack on the mandir in Pakistan. This was supposed to be the first mandir that was to be built in the capital of Islamabad, of Pakistan, and which itself was, one of those rare approvals from the government of Pakistan for the Hindu community to build their own temple. Now, remember, post partition in India, in Bharat, hundreds of thousands of mosques have been built after 1947. But in Pakistan, to build one new temple uh, was 5 years to get there, or 74 years to get there. And once the foundation stone was laid, this is what happened. So go ahead, Utsada, play the video for the Islamabad Mandir when the foundation stone was being laid. Go ahead.
Give me a minute, Ajay. It's loading up here. So because it is
Yeah,
not, it's
while
a
you load
website.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, it is a website. You're right. So I mean, amazing that the prime minister. Go ahead.
Seen
Uh,
dismantling the temporary boundary
it's
wall.
not been shared, Utsada. You may
Remember,
want to share it.
it became viral yesterday, and this
I'm
was a
unable to
local
share
temple to
the
be constructed.
video.
The
Hold
So
on.
you have
Shri
to share
Krishna
the Chrome tab if it's
Islamabad,
playing in Chrome.
which
So
has
there's an
now been
option to share a Chrome
demolished.
tab,
The temporary boundary wall is being
or
demolished.
I can share actually
In
that
that
one too.
video,
So if you want me
it's
to
a
share it,
local teenager that
would
is
you like me
doing
to
it,
share it?
and it's quite clear that the message intended for those who wanted to build the temple is very
Yes,
clear.
please.
There is no
Okay.
place
So
clearly
you have
for
to
that
share it as a Chrome tab. So that's a different
I'm
thing.
unable to do
Pakistani
that. It's for
authorities
some
are
reason not
aware of
showing
it.
up.
If anybody's guess,
Okay. All right.
it
So can you please
seems
stop yours, and
also
I'm
Let
going
me
to
try
use.
it once again, Ajay, and then I think we should. Then
Yeah,
I think you.
I'm sharing it now. I'm sharing it.
Okay.
Uh, and here it is, and with the audio, here we go, and hopefully you can see that. It's loading. It takes a little while to load because it's not coming from YouTube. It's actually
Yeah,
coming from Times of
yeah, I
India.
can see that.
Yeah. Thank you, Times of India. We acknowledge your advertisement and appreciate your video. It takes, because it's Times of India, I can see a small circle circling and the video loading, but it's very slow. This is a problem with Times of India video sometimes. Uh, there we go.
in a vi- in a viral video is all over the internet. An extremist radical can be seen dismantling the temporary boundary wall. Remember, this became viral yesterday, and this was a local temple to be constructed, a Shri Krishna temple to be constructed in Islamabad, which has now been demolished. The temporary boundary wall is being demolished, as you can see clearly in that video. It's a local teenager that is doing it, and it's quite clear that the message intended for those who wanted to build the temple is very clear. There is no place clearly for that temple in Pakistan. Whether or not the Pakistani authorities are aware of anybody's guess, but clearly seen this teenager also threatening whoever making the video, made sure he got the threats in from this local radicalized teenager. Let's go across to Pradeep Datta for more on this. Pradeep, yet another temporary boundary wall has been demolished. A Sri Krishna temple was about to come up there. Yet another case of extremely insensitive behavior in Pakistan within the national capital towards minorities and their sensitivities.
Yes, Akhil, we had been often highlighting the level of intolerance one sees in Pakistan. This is not first time when people from the different faith are not allowed to properly practice their religion. It has happened in the past also. It has happened right now also when the boundary wall of Shri Krishna temple in Islamabad was demolished, because there are certain people who do not want other faith to prosper in this region. That is one of the reasons often we had been reporting about several incidents where the girls are forcibly picked up. They are forced to, in fact, marry a man or twice or thrice their age and made to embrace Islam. But problem is that what the government is doing, because often Imran Khan keeps on talking about human rights violation, but why he is not able to see all these things happening in his backyard? There is no doubt about one thing, that there is a nexus between military mujahid and mullah, and that's preventing, in fact, Imran Khan or any other to initiate action against such radical elements and fanatic elements who are trying to target minorities off and on.
In a viral
So
video
that
that is all over the internet,
let's
an
stop the share
extremist
and go back to our video. And so that you can see that this is really traumatic for most people to see. This is the you know uh, kind of atrocities that minorities, especially Hindu minority in Pakistan, is facing. And people who are on the left, who are propped up by the same elements that are destroying the mandirs in Pakistan are now going around the campuses in America and are telling the Hindu youth that it is India and the Indian democracy that is the problem. They're not telling them that it is the destruction of mandirs in Pakistan driven by this nexus of fanatics and the Pakistani military that is behind the destruction of these temples. They are not showing these videos to the youth, or if they're showing them, they are brainwashing them by saying that this is the same as destruction of a monument to slavery that was a Barbary structure. These are the kinds of people who are right now, out to get the mind share of Hindu youth. And it is unfortunate that the Hindu parents, by and large, don't know this, very, very, you know, uh, if I were to use a Sanskrit word, a kind of a shadayantra, or very, a conspiracy of, it's more than conspiracy. It's it's getting together of this malicious, malintent anti-Hindu forces to get their youth, to get their children and grandchildren away from Hindu dharma and Hindu culture. Your thoughts?
No, I agree with you, Ajay bhai. And as I was saying this before, that there needs to be a perspective. There needs to be an understanding of the aggressor and the victim, and there needs to be a real analysis done to prove that point. And when that is not done, when rhetoric and agenda drives the reality, that is where the problem is. That is where you get a country like Pakistan getting away by wiping out its minorities, and that is where you get a country like India, where the minority population has actually doubled in the last 50 years, still get beaten up for what is mated out to be, or what is projected to be, quote unquote fascist Hindutva, whatever the catchword is at that point of time. So this is the tragedy, and there are young people who are falling victim to this mispresentation, disinformation, and it is the next generation of warfare. This is what information warfare is. This is about making the victim look like the perpetrator, and the perpetrator look like the victim. And this is where the reality is, and that's the challenge that everybody faces. I mean, one of the things that we are trying to do here is to bring out some of these facts. And if we don't have the resources, we don't have the bully pulpit. We are not New York Times, we are not Washington Post, we are not Barkhadat, or we are not those people who have much louder microphone than we do, but at least we are trying to tell the truth. And the more we are able to share this and reach out to young minds, the better it is. And we try to do that by providing facts. I mean, Pakistani Hindu population has been wiped out completely in the last 75 years. Compare that to the Muslim population in India, and you make a call and figure out who is doing what. Now, people like Hindus for HR, people like all the left-leaning wokes in American campuses, all these in Indian campuses also, they don't seem to see that, and that's because we pulpit. So, yeah, that's the sad state of affairs right now.
That is absolutely true. So but the one thing we don't need to worry about is the part where the winning part, because at the end of the day, we have truth on our side. And every time people have brought this issue up, I have told people that look, there was a better army, there were more people, better equipped, better well-known lawyers on one side, and on the other side, there was dharma. And for those who don't get it, I'm talking about the Mahabharat war. And when the time came, this the side of dharma won, because that, if you look at the Hindu scriptures, if you look at the Hindu philosophy, you'll realize that eventually it is not the it's not the money, it's not the weapons, it's not the number of people, but it's the truth that will always prevail. And that is what we say, Satyameva Jayate. At the end, the truth shall always prevail, the dharma will always prevail. And that, so that will always give us hope. And
But for
it
that,
doesn't mean it
Ajay
comes
bhai,
easy.
the thing is, for
It
that
doesn't
to
come easy.
happen,
Because just to finish, it doesn't come easy. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and toil that goes behind it, but it's sustaining. Go ahead, please. Sorry. Go ahead.
no, for that to happen, you need Mahabharata wasn't the war in Mahabharata wasn't won by people sitting around and doing nothing. War was won by people who fought and people who had to stand up
Absolutely.
for the
Yep.
truth. It didn't happen because, I have met people out there, and I'm not going to name people, but these are people who understand issues, and they often resign to the cliches of our times. Like, I have heard people say, Utsav, don't worry, this is Hindu dharma is called Sanatan dharma. There is a reason the word Sanatan is there in it. It's never going to be extinguished because these people are trying to get rid of us. I'm like, that doesn't change anything. It's not Sanatan Dharma will not. Sanatan Dharma doesn't exist in Afghanistan anymore. Sanatan Dharma is all but extinguished in Pakistan anymore, in front of our own eyes in the last 2 generations. For the so-called Sanatan Hindu Dharma that has been the mainstay of that part of the world for the last 7,000 years.
Right.
It's been extinguished in front of the last 2 generations. That says something. You cannot just sit and do nothing about it.
Well, not only that, I mean, that is why you cannot pick and choose these sentences from any scripture. As much as we say that, Satyameva Jayate, and we say Sanatan Dharma, there is also something that says Dharmo Rakshati Rakshita. So people who protect dharma are protected by dharma. So if you don't rise up and protect the values you cherish and the dharma you follow and dharma you cherish, then dharma is not going to be there to protect you.
Exactly.
So these are, when people pick and choose the parts they like and parts they don't like. I mean, in certain things you can understand, but these are the things that are meant to be taken together. You cannot take one sentence and not take the other sentence and all that. So I think there is a lesson there for all the Hindus, that if you don't want Pakistan to India to become what Pakistan is today, then you have to stand up and you have to make sure that you are out there protecting. You're out there protecting dharma, not just you're out there protecting dharma, not just by in your own mind, but you're out there protecting dharma intellectually. You're out there protecting dharma physically. That is, in every other way, you have to be ready to protect dharma, and not just in your mind say, I am everything is good because in my mind I am protecting my dharma. Or that will not work. That has never worked in past and will never work in future.
I agree with you, Ajay bhai.
So now we go to our regularly scheduled segments. But before we go to the regularly scheduled segments, so that we should play the that on 22nd of August, Hindu Pact is having a gala. And this gala is the one where we are going to have this amazing program, and I'm going to play a little clip to show you what program it is, and it's also going to be our fundraising event. So that I want to play this little clip and invite everyone to sign up and register for the Hindu Pack Gala that is happening on August 22nd. Let me play this one clip for everyone. That's on August 22nd on Sunday at 9 o'clock Eastern. Please join. It's going to be an amazing program. And I want to give a shout out to Vanna ji. Vanna Tiwari ji is the one who is the artist behind this amazing graphic, amazing painting that we have made it into our invitation card. So Vanna ji, thank you very much for the great job that you have done. And this video was also, the clip was also created by Vannaji. So thank you, Vannaji. Can't thank you enough for all the great work that you have done. There is also, Jay Bansalji has logged in and he has talked about, and we're going to do a special show on it, but we'll introduce the topic and we'll kind of break the suspense on this that we were going to reveal in a future week. But October of this year and every October after this, we are going to celebrate as Hindu Heritage Month. Hindu Heritage Month, all Hindu organizations, mandirs, all individuals are welcome to participate. It's going to be a month where we highlight not just the Hindu issues of Hindu advocacy, but also the inherent strengths of Hindu Dharma. We will talk about the Hindu practices. We'll talk about Hindu contributions to America. We'll talk about all the seva activities or service activities we do in America. So every aspect of Hindu life in America, every aspect of Hindu history, every aspect of Hindu achievement from ancient to current, all of that is going to be highlighted in this 30-day celebration or 31-day celebration in the month of October. And we are going to, this is the first time we are doing this. And we are trying to reach out to all other countries in the world. And we are hoping that if not this year, we are just starting out. But in subsequent years, we are hoping that this becomes a global event. This becomes an event where everyone from every country, there are 100 countries where Hindus live today. And our hope is that all the Hindu organizations, all the Hindu mandirs, all from all over the world, whether they're in Pakistan or they're in Thailand or they're in Ghana or they're in Uganda or they're in Suriname or they're in US or Canada, in every city, in every state, in every village, October will be a month that is celebrated by everyone as Hindu Heritage Month. A lot more to come, a lot more to come. I was going to keep all this for a future week, but since Jaiji has joined and he's leading the effort, so thank you, Jaiji, for doing that. Please stay tuned. A lot more coming up on Hindu Heritage Month. I think we are going to have a major rollout in a couple of weeks, where we'll dedicate a show on the organizing part of the Hindu Heritage Month. I want to go to the next regular segment that we always have, and that regular segment, still kind of working on this little graphic, but the next segment we have is the Hindu Seva or Charity Act of the Week.
मनसा सततं स्मरणीयं मनसा सततं स्मरणीयं वचसा सततं वदनीयं मनसा सततं स्मरणीयं वचसा सततं वदनीयं लोकहितं.
So that, as always, we always have one charity act that we highlight every week. In the past several weeks, we have been highlighting our COVID-19 efforts in India for VHP America. If you go to that slide, I still want to one more week, as the healthcare, the facilities in the rural parts of India are being shored up in preparation for a potential third wave of COVID. I want to nominate one more time the VHPA Seva activities that are going on for COVID, fighting COVID in India. And so I once again would urge people, please, I know a lot of people have already donated a lot, but if you can do it, please go to vhp-america.org, vhp-america.org, click on the donate button, and please make a contribution, any contribution you can make. No contribution is too small, no contribution is too big. Even if you can if you can donate $1, that goes a long way. If you can donate more, please donate more. This is a good cause, and you can be assured that with VHPA, with VHP America, the money will go to the good cause. We are very diligent about who the money is being sent to. All laws, all regulations are diligently followed. We check and double check the recipient of the donations, and when we send it. And with that, Utsoda, the final but the most awaited segment of the week. And as Utsoda always likes it, we have to have a special drum roll for that. And so, Utsoda, this is the segment that is the Hindu phobe or the Hindu hater of the week or Hindu dveshi or whatever you want to call it. We call it Hindu phobe of the week. And Utsada brings us the Hindu phobe of the week for this week. Utsada, who do we have?
So we have University of California, Davis as the Hindu phobe of the week because, last month people were Hindus around
Utsada,
America.
you're not sharing the screen. You wanted to share the screen because you have a really nice graphic. Do you want me to? I cannot
No,
share. I
I,
can share.
I just wanted to talk about it because then people get busy trying to read it, and it's
Okay.
harder.
All right.
Font is not that big, so I was just going to talk about it because
Okay.
most
After
of
you
the
finish
people are
talking, you can
listening
show
to
the
us.
screen. Yeah, go for it.
So so University of California in Davis has a big Hindu American student community, and many of them are from India. Uh, so many Hindu students there who are part of the Indian Student Association were trying to commemorate last month, which was July, as the Hindu Persecution Awareness Month. A lot of people, it was an online campaign that was launched, and to highlight, some of the atrocities that we showed today, just the temples that they were demolished in the last 8 months in Pakistan. And trust me, there are 100 times more horrendous acts being committed against Hindus, against Hindu women, in particular in Pakistan, that needed to be talked about. So this Indian Student Association in UC Davis, where started posting and talking about Hindu Persecution Awareness Month, and they were asked to apologize and forced to remove their post by the university. So, speaking of all the so-called people of color narrative that is so popular in American campuses and all, some people don't have the same rights as some others. And just the fact that Hindus could not talk about the real atrocities that they face every day in many parts of the world is not acceptable. And this is why we have the University of California in Davis as the Hindu phobe of the week. And it is a serious issue that will plague Hindu American community for years to come, given the direction that that this issue, the Hindu hatred against Hindus, is permeating into many of the campuses. This is something that is not unique to so-called left woke campuses in America. It is very much prevalent in even cities, in universities which have a more right focused atmosphere. So, and this makes it so difficult because Hindus are targeted at every end of the ideological spectrum, and that is why it is important for us to understand the reasons and deal with it as much as possible, as quickly as possible. And a lot rests on the shoulders of the youth in our community in America. So once again, the Hindu phobe of the week is University of California in Davis.
And Utsada, as people look at the nice graphic that you had picked, I couldn't resist showing this because it's really,
I
really
just think that
tells the
sometimes we go overboard trying to show things, and people don't notice what we are saying actually, because we are trying to
but
make
we have
people
to play
read
this
small
music.
little letters.
But we do have to play this screaming.
That's, you like doing that, I know.
Usada, with that, I as we come to the end of our show today, I want to once again thank everyone for joining, and I want to say that we do have a special treat as we do every week. We have Decibels who have created this amazing music one more time, and this is based on Raga Revati. So they, I unfortunately I'm not an expert in classical music. I don't know much at all about classical music, but this is a special, as everyone knows by now, Decibel creates special music for us for that particular episode every single week. And this we and they're all based on classical ragas. And this is the special click that they have created on Raga Revati. And we are going to, as we end the show, I'm going to play this clip. So please, if you can stay back and listen to this music, it's 3 minute long, and it's amazing music. I want to thank everyone for joining. Once again, this was Hindu Lounge. Hindu Lounge is brought to you by Hindu Pact. Hindu Pact is the policy research and advocacy initiative of World Hindu Council of America. I am Ajay Shah, and I'm the president of World Hindu Council of America. And with me, as always, is Utsav Chakrabarti. Utsada is the executive director of Hindu Pact. So, Utsada, thank you for joining. It is, as always, my privilege to be sharing this particular, show with you, and having this conversation with you every Sunday morning. I really enjoy it. I can tell you that I learn a lot from you. So thank you for doing that. And everyone, please join us again next week. And thank you again for joining. And join us next week, 11 o'clock Eastern. We hope to have a special show, but we are not yet sure. So we'll announce that during the week if all the scheduling works out. But Utsada, any final parting comments before we turn over to the music from Decibels?
Well, thank you, everybody. And once again, a reminder for our annual gala. And join us. We need your support. We need your donation. We have been here for only a couple of months, and we have done quite a bit of work. And as you will see on our website, as well as on our different events that we host. And this is just the beginning. We need your support. This will go from strength to strength over the year that is coming. So please join us, support us. And once again, thank you very much, Ajay bhai. Enjoy the music.
Enjoy the music. Decibels coming up. And here is our title. And here is Decibel. Where is it? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And it's loading.